What's up, guys? So about 4 years ago was the first time that I opened up a Philippines dating app and I dipped my toes in to check it out. And I knew right away that if I continued down that path, that things were going to be completely different than anything that I'm used to in terms of dating and relationships in the West. And if you guys have started the process and you've dipped your toes in and you're doing online dating, or if you're in the Philippines or if you've been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a completely different world. It's like it's on steroids. There's really high highs, there's really low lows, and everything in between. And there's a lot of things to figure out. There's a lot of pitfalls, but there's a lot of potential for amazing relationships and dating opportunities too, like better than anything that you've experienced back home in most people's eyes. So in this video, guys, I've got 5 things that I'm gonna go over. 5 of many more. I'm gonna make a bunch of videos breaking down these things that I've learned myself through my own experiences, but also things that I've learned from other people that I've met and their experiences. Before I get started, I want to introduce the partner for this video, Christian Filipina. I partner with them once a month for a video that pertains to what they offer, which is an online dating service. This is a service that's definitely more targeted and focused for guys that are seriously looking for a relationship, long-term, marriage, that kind of thing. That's what their offerings are all about, matching genuine people together. And if you're interested in that, there's a link in the description. You can check it out, no obligation whatsoever. See if their packages are a good fit for you. And to everyone that is out there looking to meet someone, good luck to you. I hope you find someone amazing. Let's get to the video. Guys, I'm gonna play some footage of the Philippines so you can look at that instead of my mug for the whole time. Let's get into it. Number 1, here we go. Now, you would think this is just common sense and what guy would ever go down this path, but unfortunately, it happens often. It happens time and time again, and that is giving your money away to girls that are asking for it and that are planting seeds of hardship. That is the first red flag that you'll probably encounter when you are meeting Filipinas. They're not all going to do that, and that is the whole point of me mentioning this. Those that do, and it happens often, avoid it. 99% of the time, if a girl asks you for money, or if they plant that hardship to you, basically stating their struggles financially, someone's in the hospital, they can't afford the medication, they can't afford enough food, they're hungry, anything like that, when they're coming at you with that, when you're in the process of getting to know them, or even further along when you're dating them, beware and honestly go the other direction. That is the first red flag that is worthy of you changing course and looking for somebody else, because in all likelihood that is their whole intention with meeting someone. It is for financial gain, it is to help them out financially, it's to help their family out financially, and often that just leads to trouble. It leads to disappointment, it leads to heartache. And I'm not saying there's not times to help out. What I'm saying is when they're coming at you for money and when they're trying to make you feel bad in order for you to give them money, that is the red flag that you should avoid. If you're getting to know someone and you find out that they're struggling and you want to offer some help, by all means, do that. I'm not saying don't, and I'm not saying that's going to lead to a bad relationship, but you do have to be careful with that too if you're leading with your wallet, because you can start to set expectations, you can start to set dependency and things like that. Be careful with that whole realm of things. And I know this seems like common sense, but I'm telling you guys, common sense is not always common, especially when it comes to this kind of thing. It happens all the time. I just heard another story a guy emailed me about that he went through with starting out meeting someone, becoming head over heels for her, getting excited about the potential, and then it all started, the hardship, and he started helping her out, and that led to more requests for more money, and it became a bigger thing. And his thing was that she verified that she really did need the help. So I want to get that point across. It's not that these girls don't need the help. It's not that they're not poor. It's nothing to do with that. It's when the relationship dynamic is based around this sort of support, that's when 99.9% of the time it's not going to end well, because it's just going to become more and more need, and the focus is around getting help from you as a foreigner. And if that's what the relationship is based on, not about you as a person in the relationship itself, I hope you can see why this is not going to end well. Whether or not she bails out early on and she doesn't even become your girlfriend, or if you continue on with her and you get married to someone like that, that is where it can become a really big nightmare way down the road when she has literally everything she wants, the financial and now the marriage and let's say the citizenship in a different country. These things happen way more often than you think, guys. I needed to mention it. With the guy that emailed me, it didn't even turn into a relationship. He was supporting her quite a bit long distance with the plan of meeting her and things really rolling when he got to the Philippines. And by the time he got there, she was not around. So she was just doing an online scheme to get money. That was all it was. All right, number 2. My experience since starting this whole thing and meeting girls online and chatting with them and getting to know them and even, dating in person is it seems like lying is so common in the Philippines. I know people lie everywhere, and I'm not trying to say that Filipinas are the only ones that lie. That's not what I'm getting at. But there seems to be this trend with lying about certain things, and it's related to feeling maybe a little more desperate or a little more urgency to find someone to help them have a better life, to get them out of a situation that they're not happy with. And therefore, they don't want to scare anyone away. So they want to paint the perfect picture, or they want to avoid saying certain things. And a lot of times it's little sneaky lies, right? Like they'll tell you they live in Cebu City or Manila, but really they live in some other island far away. But their profile will say Cebu City. And until you really find that stuff out, you might be misled a little bit. And that's a little sneaky thing, right? I'm not saying that's the worst lie ever, but these are things that you have to know ahead of time that can save you some time and some hassle, right? If you only want to meet someone within a certain range because you don't want to travel too far or whatever, then you're going to want to ask right away where they really are located, because that's just a super, super common thing, is lying about their location. A lot of times they will hide information from you about having kids and things like that, or being married and separated versus single, like they're actually married, but they don't want to tell you that because that's a huge, it's a taboo thing, and they know that a lot of guys won't even consider a girl that's separated, that's legally married. Having kids, that's a very common thing. They'll hide that information from you. These are things that you have to have good judgment. You have to ask the right questions. You have to really get to know someone and not ignore red flags or things that seem suspicious, right? Like dig a little deeper if things feel a little bit odd. Unfortunately, sometimes, or maybe even a lot of the times, there are bigger lies too, and that can be scary. And a lot of times, they're so good at it and you won't know until down the road. I've told stories on this channel before about a guy that I've met and got to know that he was dating a girl for over a year, and it got very serious, and they were talking about kids and marriage and her moving to the US, and finds out like a year and a half later that she actually had kids, and their whole talk was that she didn't have kids and they were going to start a family. And at the end, she kind of broke out and told him all this stuff and basically said, I was afraid to tell you because I knew you wouldn't want to be with me and yada yada. And he was kind of confused and felt like her intentions were good, but because she really just wanted the relationship. But what a terrible way to start something and hang on to a lie like that. Be careful with lies, be careful with that. It's all part of your process of getting to know someone and not ignoring red flags. Do not ignore red flags, do not ignore your intuition, and just be cautious with that. It should feel right, it should feel good. You shouldn't have a bunch of doubts. And guys often get distracted by their good looks and their cuteness and the attention. That's part of the problem with going to the Philippines, is guys aren't used to that. Guys aren't used to, having someone that younger or attractive, whatever, interested in them. So they let the red flags go and they maybe ignore the lies or whatever. So honesty is key in any relationship. It's the same for the Philippines. Couples that I've met that are really successful and happy, it's a super open and honest relationship. That is key. All right, moving on. Number 3. Speaking of cute Filipinas, most guys, by far, high percentage of guys come to the Philippines to meet a Filipina, not just because they want a more traditional girl or they want someone that's sweet or caring or whatever. Yeah, that's part of it. But most guys come because they think they can meet a girl who is much cuter, younger, more attractive girl than what they can get back home. This is a big draw. They're thinking, well, in the US, the only girls that'll date me are 5s. But in the Philippines, I think I can get an 8. This is common. I'm guilty. Everyone's guilty. Just admit it. You're going there because you can get a cuter, younger girl. I mean, it's just, you see it everywhere. It's older guys dating younger girls. Could be older, chubbier, balding guys dating a younger, cuter girl. And you don't see that commonly in the US or Canada or any Western country unless you're a rock star or a movie star, right? So that's kind of the whole thing. Like a foreigner goes to the Philippines with that mindset that they're kind of like a rock star, not full on, but a little bit. And therefore, I'm going to have more opportunities. And that's just the truth. You're going with higher status. You're going with these opportunities because of your money goes further, whatever. We all know this. But what I wanted to bring this point up for is with that mindset, with the mindset of chasing cuter, younger girls can often lead to disappointment, trouble, dating girls that you're not that compatible with, dating girls that are not that, genuine, that you're not on the same page with, but you're with a younger, cuter girl, right? So you can be distracted with this. You can waste time going for that part too much. And most guys do this, at least at the beginning, at least early on, because it's this new, exciting thing. It's that, oh, I'm a rock star here. I want to enjoy this a little bit. So be careful of that. Stay true to what you're really looking for. I'm not saying don't be drawn to cute girls, but don't let it get in the way and distract you, because this relates to the other things. It relates to the lying. It relates to the stuff that I mentioned before with the money, because we are dum-dums. Guys are dum-dums a lot of the time, and we have these caveman brains a lot of the time, and we can kind of go down these paths, even if we know what we're doing is like not really right or not good for us. We still do it because the cuteness is dangled in front of us, that attractive, amazing body, whatever it is, and it completely warps our thinking. So be careful of that, be really aware of that, and just know that there are great girls that are still cute that you just have to be patient for, and make sure you're with them for all the other reasons too. Make sure it's someone that really likes you, that really cares for you, and you're going to get so much more out of it. There's cute girls that are good girls. There's cute girls that are bad girls. There's more of the bad girls, for a lack of a better term, that maybe don't have genuine intentions, that are going to be right there waving at you. They're all over the dating apps everywhere. And those are the girls that often get these guys to start paying attention to them. And the good girls that are cute are a little harder to find and take a little more work. But if you really want a cute girl, you just have to be more patient. Just make sure that you're connecting for genuine reasons. And if you're a good, honest, caring, genuine guy, a lot of these cute Filipinas, that's what they're looking for, like the good ones. That's what they care about. Like they want a good guy that they feel safe with, that they feel, has the potential to be a good, healthy, long-term relationship. I think I made my point. Just try not to be a dum-dum too often, or not at all if you can avoid it. Okay, number 4. I'm going to lay this out there, and I'd love to know everyone's thoughts on this. And if there are Filipinos watching this video, I'd love to know your thought, because I made a video about this from an experience a long time ago when I went to the province to meet a Filipina that I had been chatting with for only a few days, like 5 days or something like that. And I was already in the Philippines and decided to go and meet her. And everything just escalated so quickly, from the family was there to meet and greet, with the thinking that it was a serious relationship. And she said, "I love you," within a couple of hours. And none of this was really talked about before me coming there. And I heard mixed things in the comment section, from guys saying, yeah, that was, too much too soon. And Filipinos saying, well, that's Filipino culture and you should have gone to meet her. Well, this is the thing that is tricky, right? Most Western guys want to spend time with someone in person. We call it dating, right? Like back home, we'll date, we'll get to know someone, and it might evolve into a more serious relationship. Well, in the province, there's not really a thing called dating. Like there's courting, which is sort of a traditional thing that's still there, but I think it's not as common as it used to be. But dating is not much of a thing. So if you are spending time with someone and you are becoming more exclusive with, you're chatting with each other and you're talking of going out there, in your mind, you're getting to know them and you want to go meet them. But in their mind, things are evolving much quicker, and they could be thinking much more way down the road. It's a relationship. They're thinking kids, they're thinking marriage, they're maybe feeling like they're falling in love. And, if the family's involved and if you're meeting the family, there's so much more at stake. And if you go there and you realize after meeting in person it's much different than you thought it was going to be, it can be kind of disastrous if you tell her that if you want to move on and you want to go in a different direction, it can be devastating, right? So this is something that just be aware of. Obviously being upfront, forthcoming, being honest about your intentions, about how you feel about this. But a lot of guys aren't really aware, and they just get caught up in meeting someone and chatting with them. They're not thinking about what I'm saying right now and how important it is to be upfront about it. And also a lot of guys don't want to scare a Filipina off. If you're chatting with a really cute or sweet or nice girl, you don't want to say too much that sounds like you're unsure, because you don't want her to lose interest in you. And then when you go there, that's when guys will decide, okay, is this going to be a good fit for me? So it's like two people at two different stages along the way with some cultural differences. And this could be like a series of videos in itself. And I don't know the best way to approach it other than being honest, other than being upfront and being aware of, these kind of differences, dealing with province Filipinas. But it is a big thing, and I think a lot of guys run into this kind of stuff. And if you've had to end something with a Filipina, you know what I'm talking about as far as how bad it can be and how hard it can be and how devastating it can be. Now, a lot of that is because you probably broke her heart, but a lot of that is also, there's high hopes to have a foreigner boyfriend. And this is where there's like this gray area where it's not just love. There's a lot of like, oh my God, my life is going to change. And the family is thinking, oh man, my life is going to change too. All of our lives are going to change because they have a cousin that has a foreigner husband and they live in the big house down the road and their life is so good. And it's natural. It's natural to desire things like that. If you have good intentions otherwise, there's nothing wrong with that. But it can create this different world when it comes to, dating over there. So anyways, I did the best I could to just paint the picture in number 4. There's way more to this, and I'll talk more about it in other videos. I need to interview other people about this in Filipinas to get their perspective, because it can be a sensitive topic. But that's it for number 4. Number 5, guys, the last one for this video, is there is definitely a distinction between the type of Filipinas that are going to seem most available. They're the ones that are just blasting themselves on dating apps and trying to get your attention and waving at you, or the ones that will make eye contact with you and smile at you or even approach you when you're there, boots on the ground. The ones that are more willing to be with you. Often, these are the girls that could be more trouble. And the girls that are harder to get, that are not just staring at you, waving at you, I say that metaphorically, but the ones that are focused on other aspects of their life, and maybe they're just cautious of foreigners because of reputation of foreigners, coming to the Philippines for fun, and they don't want to go down that road. Often those Filipinas can be amazing partners, the ones that will be loyal, devoted, and just great girls to be with. Now, there can be good girls that are the ones that are easier to get. I'm not saying that's not the case, and vice versa. But I think in most cases, the girls that are going to take a little more time to get to know, a little more time before they're ready for jumping in with you, are the type of girls that are going to lead to a more lasting, quality relationship. So maybe it goes without saying, if a Filipina is willing to jump in with you quickly, she's cute and she's jumping in, and I don't mean just jumping in the relationship, but like jumping into bed with you right away. Do you think that maybe she's also willing to just do it with another guy that comes around the corner when the opportunity arises, or she just did it with a foreigner previously? And with that mindset of being quick to jump in before really knowing you, could that lead to a nightmare scenario down the road when the dust settles, when you've committed to her more, when she has what she's looking for, when she's married to you and you brought her back to the US? Is that the time when she is going to be quick to jump ship because she was so quick to jump in with you? You know what I mean? I think that's something to really think about, even though it's probably much harder to meet those other types of Filipinas that aren't even maybe looking to meet a foreigner. I think it might be worth the effort Good things take time. I will say this, if you are dating a girl that was the type that was waving at you or that was quick to jump in with you, whatever, if she is brutally honest and so open with you and you are with her, that alone can lead to quality connections, quality relationship. I met a couple that met with the intentions were money for her and a good time for him. That's how it started, but they were open about that. They talked about it, they joked about it. It was always their thing, but over time that honesty led to a really deep connection which led to a really quality relationship instead of just them having fun. And now they're 8 years married and they have a kid and they're just an awesome couple. So it's not to say that those kind of Filipinas can't lead to amazing relationships, but there has to be honesty throughout the whole process and transparency all the way about intentions. And that way there's respect for each other, there's trust built between each other. Things can actually evolve from there, and if it's meant to be, it could turn into something genuine. Anyways, guys, that is it for this one. Stay tuned for the next one. I'm going to be making videos like this in the future, talking about more things to think about, because there's endless things to consider when you're going to the Philippines to meet a Filipina. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Check out the link in the description if you want to check out Christian Filipina, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.